Alright, let's do a little test here. Let's see if we can't get this recorded. So this is Vexas. It is a handheld PDA style device. We can adjust the brightness, but I probably shouldn't. Vexas is operated through this full QWERTY keyboard and uses, for the most part, Vim keys to navigate. So JKL, or HJKL rather, will allow us to go up, down, left, and right in order to navigate menus and to type in data directly. So we've got this is our kind of the screensaver screen. I don't know what you would call this. In the sense of navigation, it's all the way at the back. So here's our notes. If we go back, we go back to the main menu, and we can go back all the way back to this time display screen. Little crying guy there. He's we'll show him later. Actually, let's get that now. This is to-do items. The crying guy indicates whether or not to-do items are done. So I'm pressing J and K to choose to scroll up and down here. Hope that button clicking not too loud. I'll choose my to-dos. You see I've got things here. I'll choose right in order to select the item. Check my voicemails always. Process orders. See, I say one Bible verse or one sentence, but I know that makes it very easy to do. And then if you do one, you're not going to just stop. So that's all the to-do items done. And once all the to-do items are done, you go back to that main screen, and he's got the awesome smiley. That's what we're looking for, right? All right, so notes. That's the primary use for this, is the quick entry of notes. Now there's a few things going on here. You'll find some, I wouldn't say org style, but it's kind of Vim, still Vim inspired, but a little bit of org mode stuff going on here. You saw those checkboxes and stuff. So these are just reminders that I have for myself, and there's this blank spot here. And you'll know if you Vim that these blank spots are essentially paragraph separators. So I can press the brace buttons, which are down here, square brace, and then pray that the camera focuses again, because that's not a thing that it does very easily. Camera, thank you. Okay, please and thank you. So I can jump between these line breaks, these paragraph breaks. I can also put one in the middle just by, let's see. Yeah, that's okay. I'll drop a new line in here by pressing O, and this lets me put in whatever I want and press enter. But if I delete that line, or rather clear it with backspace, there we go, then this becomes a paragraph separator. So I can jump right between those paragraph separators. And if I want to erase the line entirely, I press D to delete it. And that, because you know about memory, I'm sure, I'm not deleting the line, I'm just shifting everything up and putting that line all the way at the end. So this one supports, I think, 60, what does it support? 70, 79, I think, right now. It's adjustable, and we're by no means close to the limit of the ESP32, so that's not really a problem. You can always go back and come back in, and it'll put you back at the top. So here's all my items, and I can, at any point, move these around. These little separator things, these are not anything special. They're just entries. You can also, while you're navigating these and menu items, move them up and down. So similarly, I can change this so that it appears to have a different context or whatever, but it's basically the same thing. You still get to do things like append by pressing A. think I'm going to get some nonsense in here. Yeah, there's a bug. I'm not sure what that bug is. I'll figure it out. Video. Sorry, this is a little weird with the camera. Now. There we go. And I can move that back up. And let's see. I think that's actually it for this selection. Hold on. Menu screen. List screen. JKL, yeah, that's all right. I'll append. You can write to the beginning of the text, and you can navigate with the arrow keys, which are on a different layer. Speaking of layers, we've got our numbers here. There we go. So we're able to edit this text and move it around and do whatever we need to do with it. So we can insert new lines under the current cursor line, and we can delete lines that are on the current cursor line. And let's see. Link entry. Yeah, I think that's everything. Cool. So that's the menu screen, or the notes screen. This is the timer selection. Timers let you do any type of count up timing, or rather count down timing. So let's do this. Let's do 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Enter. We'll call it video. There we go. So there's our timer. It's counting down from 1 minute from the time that I created the time, not the time I finished typing in the description for it. You'll also notice that there's a tiny binary display down there which persists across any other menu screens. So it's still there, and as it counts down, let's just move this up a little bit so it'll be easier. That little menu display thing will display the binary output for the topmost time. So you can see that that's counting down. It's almost to 0 now. There we go. So now we navigate into our timer, find the timer. It tells you how long it's been overdue, and you press Q to clear. Actually, we'll press S to snooze it, and that adds 5 minutes to it. And you can do the same thing with any of these. Press S to add 5 minutes to it, and you can press Q to clear them. And as you saw, we can name all those. The to-dos, we already covered those. Stopwatches. This is a standard stopwatch count up timer. You just press right, Andre, and it starts doing a stopwatch count up. You can move these up and down just as in any other. Now notice we've got a little stopwatch indicator there. If the topmost entry has a stopwatch timer on it, it'll display right here and persist across the screens. So we can see all this. Let's turn off one of those to-dos. So now we know we've got a stopwatch running in the background that we might want to keep an eye on. So I'll just clear that. You can see this is the last restart, which was 60 hours ago. So this is working pretty well, I think. Calendar is not populated yet. Sleep is populated. It's used for turning off the screen and reducing the CPU speed, which reduces the battery life, or increases the battery life. You just hold down a button for, I think, 2 seconds. There we go. And now we're back from the sleep. Now, reference is reference is pretty interesting. So I have a bunch of data over here. There we go. So here's my items here, and I've got let's see, what is that? 20K file. Okay, 20 kilobytes. This information is now stored inside this reference data file. Come on. And I can reference. I can pull up this blob of data at any point. There we go. So we can see I've got the data entered here, and you can see it kind of cuts off here for a few. Not really, actually. How about that? But if you select it, you can read the entirety of that entry on one screen. But what's really cool about it, since we've got so much data in here, is if we wanted to search for something in particular. So let's say I want to search for recipes. I'll press the search, which is slash, bin, typo, recipe. There we go. Ultimate burrito there. That looks pretty good. We'll select that one. Oh, that's not selecting. How do I select? Oh yeah, enter. Okay. And this skips us down to that particular section of the file. You can see we've got that ultimate burrito, which is the final burrito. It's the final burrito. Come on, come on. Help us out. No. How dare you? Ah, there we go. Please, pretty please. Sugar on top. There we go. See, we're good. This skips us down to the same reference file at this location, and we can of course scroll to the right and see each individual item on the screen, including the next item, because we're basically just scrolling through this file. So we're scrolled way down on this file, at 82% through the file. See down here. 82%. So we're pretty far along in here. But that otherwise you can navigate it normally by using the bracket keys to skip to the next field. And then same thing goes for these. You can view any of this data wherever you want, broken out. That's about it. So you get all of your reference data. See, look at this. Look at this. See this? This is some kind of bug. I need to figure out what's up with that. Some of these fields get overwritten. I think I've got a bad pointer somewhere. But it still works well enough that I've been using it for a long time. The EEPROM write test, this still works, I think. It's maxed out. That's worth noting. The notes here are significantly smaller than the... I could probably rewatch this video and maybe identify the bug. That would be a good idea. The notes are editable, are mutable. Timer names are mutable, as are the to-do, or rather, to-dos are immutable. The stopwatches are mutable. But the reference data is hard. That's immutable. That's stored in the not the SRAM. So that's not going to change. You can't edit this. You can't edit the reference file. That has to be edited in the file here when it's uploaded as a reference file. But for the stuff that is mutable, you can do EEPROM writes to back up your notes and then restore them later. I'm not going to read it because it'll actually overwrite my stuff right now because I don't know what's in EEPROM. But you also have these. These are some just kind of diagnostic options. Inverting the display, you can invert it manually. You can tell the buzzer to do things. I'm not going to flip the screen vertically. You have the brightness settings, obviously. Ooh. As you can tell, it also has key hold down or key repeat. That was a pretty simple function. That was pretty funny. I can't believe that worked. You might be able to see this actually. Nope, it's not the refresh. Yeah, if you set it to 10, it's significantly slower and it's harder to catch the buttons. But it does save a lot of battery life. The hour, minute, day, plus, this is for modifying the date. The date is actually manually set, so it's usually configured in the hard configured in the file. I actually need to update that. But the point is, you configure it, and then come on, you. This is my favorite part of this camera. It's actually a really good camera. Works really well. Good support. just the autofocus. Just the autofocus. Don't mind me, just fighting with the camera. Okay, yes, okay. This is what we're doing. This is how life is now. This is the new normal. Got it. Okay. Alright. And then on any of these screens you can skip by paragraph. So that's modifying the date. And then I think that's it, yeah. We just have more menu items down here. I think the menu, yeah, the menu screen has code to roll over, but the other screens do not yet. But that's easy enough to add and stuff. So yeah, I think that's it. Those are pretty much all the features we've got here. That's it. So this is a. Let's get the camera some relief. So this is designed to be kind of handheld. Obviously, it has some buttons on the back for backspace and enter. You can see the 2500 milliamp hour battery in there. That's pretty big. You basically, you're not gonna. Battery life is measured in days, so you don't really have to worry too much about that. It has kind of this faceplate thing. It sits forward because I want to be able to remove this and use it for other things. But it can sit completely flat, and it barely gets past this level when it sits in, because this is on female header pins, so it's removable, and that's unnecessary. But the next version of the PCB will be able to accommodate that and sit it a lot lower. But that's it. That's Vexas. And now I just awkwardly stop the recording.